Hi, this is Brad Walseth from JazzChicago.net, and I'm honored and pleased to be here with Avery Sharpe, who has put out the last couple of years two of my favorite albums. This year's Autumn Moonlight.
Great.
And last year's Mentors and Legends, or is it
Legends and Mentors?
Legends and Mentors, yes, thank you. And two of my absolute favorite albums, and some fabulous bass playing, some great compositions, and you're also the inventor of the Boston Baked Blues.
Yes. That's a little ditty I put together. Boston. I live on the western side of Massachusetts. I'm originally born in Georgia, raised in Springfield, Massachusetts. And when I first started going to Boston, I really didn't like Boston. I didn't like it. And then suddenly I started doing other gigs. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a different side of town. I started meeting different kind of people, and so then I started to have a sort of a love for Boston. Actually, Boston is the most, I gotta say this, I've been all over the world, and even being raised in the South, some of the most problems I've had have been in Boston, but that's all in the past, as they say, and we're moving forward now.
I hope so.
And but it's a great town. Boston, historically, it's an incredible town. I can't say enough about it. So I was thinking about Boston because actually I recorded the record in Boston, and I kept it a whole Massachusetts kind of vibe. I always like to keep sort of a family vibe. So that's the reason why I sort of came up with thinking about Boston, and so I came up with Boston Baked Blues.
Well, now both of these albums were released on your own label, and you can go to averysharpe.com and pick up these albums. Is that correct?
Or jknmrecords.com. And this is probably, I think that's like the seventh recording I did on my own label. So I started my label back in 1995, and I've done larger compositions on. I think I have an extended family series. I did Extended Family 1, which was inspired by my father's no political, buhal. I guess the right kind of made the family values thing kind of a bad word, but it was just the simple values that my parents taught me, and so I honored it by starting Extended Family 1. I did Extended Family 2, Thoughts of My Ancestors, then I did Extended Family 3, Family Values, and it went everywhere from a quartet to gospel choir with strings. So I like writing all different kind of material. But these last two records, Legends and Mentors, I was thinking about my mentors and cats who were not only changed the face of music, jazz as we know it, but they also changed my life. And I was fortunate enough to be influenced by them and work with them. Archie Shupp was, who I just played with, was actually my first major influence in jazz. And I was telling Archie the other day, because he was one of my professors in school, and he was one of the first people. Him and Horace Boyer, who's a gospel singer and one of the foremost historians on black gospel music, who just recently passed. Those two people took an interest in me from the very beginning, and spent a lot of time with me, and really shaped the way that I view this music now. And I was telling Archie, I said, I don't take you for granted, because you were the one that I used to go over to his house. I mean, these cats, they spent a lot of time with me, so they saw something in me that obviously I wasn't seeing, and were able to bring that out. So, and of course, McCoy Tyner. I worked with McCoy for 20 years, and McCoy's a great, big influence. So McCoy, Tyner, Archie Shupp, and Yusef Lateef, who's, I've probably done like 7 recordings with him. He's the one that actually, him and Kevin Eubanks were the ones that actually encouraged me to do my own label. And so, Yusef is just one of the greatest examples of a human being, of a human force that I've ever seen on this planet. And he has so much experience. I just call him once a month, just to say, talk, man, because every time you talk, I learn something. And really a great human being. I mean, I always try to put forth and pride myself on not just trying to be a great musician, but just trying to be a great human being. And because that's when it's all said and done, that's really what all we are. I don't care what a person done or what they haven't done. I mean, how do you treat the person next to you? It's like when some cats, great musicians, pass. You go, great musicians. Other cats pass. You go, dang, great human being, and you go, oh yeah, by the way, he was like a great, human being. Example, Dizzy Gillespie.
Right.
Dizzy was, when I heard the Dizzy pass, years ago, I was like, dang, great person. Then I was like, oh yeah. father of bebop, you know, by the way.
Right.
So, you know, that's kind of the way that I just was doing that record to kind of honor those two people. I did, and the way that it came about was I did two of their compositions, and I wrote a tune for each of them. So it's kind of like in a sort of a three trilogy mode. I don't know why I like the trilogy, like with Extended Family 3. Maybe I just like 3. I don't know what that's all about. But and then you know, I had, you know, John Blake on violin and Joe Ford, who worked with McCoy for years, and had a credible blending sound that they, you know, violin and sax, and which is, you know, the cats been playing together for so long, they're like one.
Right.
You know, when people hear the record, they're like, who's the trumpet player, sax player? I'm like, that's violin. You know, it's John on violin. And of course, you know, my regular trio, I work with you know, Bernard Harper on drums and Onaje Allen Gums on piano, who are great musicians in their own right. And you know, I was fortunate enough to convince them to work, you know, in my trio. And so when I did Legends and Mentor, I just decided just to do a trio record. And everyone goes, why do you do a trio record when you worked with McCoy for, you know, so long, a trio? And I tell people, you know, trio is actually one of my favorite configurations, because I mean, there's so much that goes on, you know, between piano, bass, and drums. A lot of times people miss, you know, if there's a singer out front or horns, you know, a lot of times they miss it. And there's a lot of little nuances that you can get into, which I really love. And the great thing about, you know, working with McCoy for so long, he gave me a lot of space. But you know, some piano trios, I won't mention any names, you know, they play all night and then they might give 8 bars to the bass player and 4 bars to the drummer. You're like, what? Well, McCoy, he just gave me a lot of space, and it really opened me up. You know, I mean, you know, he would just stop playing. Like, you got it.
Yeah.
You know, no drums, nothing, and you really have to kind of reach and hear different stuff, and that really kind of shaped my whole solo approach. You know, because he would give me that space, and so, you know, it's like having McCoy Tigers do solo, and it's like you got to say something. So, you know, it really was a challenge, and you know, gave me a long. You know, being with him for so long, you know, we not only forged a musical relationship, but, you know, also you know, friendship as well. You know, I mean, we were together for so long, people thought we were related. You know, it's like, couldn't the cat just dig me? Could it be just that simple? You know, we just, you know, kind of really meshed, and you know.